Welcome everybody to another episode of our Vision Business Community podcast. I just wanted to preempt the introduction here by saying the lady that I have on today is a personal friend of mine. She's absolutely brilliant in what she does and would be more than an adequate help for anyone that is looking for marketing assistance and expertise. So I'm introducing today my friend Sharon Williams, CEO and founder of Taurus Marketing. Is that good enough as an introduction? You're not just a marketing person. You are the CEO of a fabulous company. Tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, thanks, George. Well, I'm an English girl who was born and brought up in London and always wants to go either into the Navy as a Wren officer or and I ended up not doing that and founding a marketing and PR agency that has been going. I'd have caused havoc, I'm sure. And I've been running a marketing and PR agency that specializes in entrepreneurs and tech brands for about 25 years. And before that, I worked in tech marketing, but did a whole load of things that I failed at and was good at. I worked with Prince Charles Polo Club for a while. I worked for a shipping tycoon. I was a holiday rep in Greece. I started the Marks and Spencer's management training, which was so sought after. Turned down university, worked as a courier rep, like a DHL. It was actually Emery Worldwide. So I did a whole load of jobs before I hit about 22, 23, and then got into tech marketing. And that really created my future. So I've been in tech marketing now, 30 years plus, but run Taurus for 25.
Who knows where you could have been today if you did join the Navy.
Yeah, I'd still be digging that hole and covering it up, I think, because I'd have been very I would have been a naughty Wren.
You would have been very good at peeling potatoes, I'm sure.
Well, back then, you could only be a radar Wren or a writer Wren, which was, you sat at a radar screen. Or
that's very limiting.
A secretary. And I wanted to go off and, intrepid explorer and do exciting things. And at that time, you really couldn't. So it's probably just as well that I didn't join. And then Marks and Spencer's was very prestigious. It was very well sought after, difficult to get in, highly paid. And I just wasn't, my parents were thrilled, and, I turned down university to go. I think I was earning more starting there as a management trainee than my mother was running personnel for, a great big factory of Nestle in Hayes in London. But I felt that I didn't want to be a square peg in a round hole, or rather I was round trying to be put into a square peg. I mean, their systems and processes were all fine. It was me that wasn't the right fit. But look, I wouldn't change my history for anything. I think I had the most exciting time. I think I'm the millennial, even though I'm probably about 3 times the age of a millennial. And I love my life. I love my job, love my company.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, you obviously now you commentate, you do rounds of speaking engagements. You're not just an entrepreneur, and you're not just a marketing chick, so to speak. You're a bit more than that. And I mean, obviously the lesson here is that you chased your passions. And you chimed in with what took your fancy at the time, and you tried a number of things, and something eventually stuck, and you found you had real talent, real skill, and real tenacity in the area that you're in right now. When did that actually start for you? When did you found Taurus Marketing?
So I founded Taurus in August 1995. The 21st of August was the day my first child was born. So I was juggling a laptop and
well done
contractions, and thought that Taurus should be registered. And my absolute passion at that point was to contribute to my family. I was married to a lovely Englishman. We're divorced now, but he's the mother of my beautiful 3 children. And I want,
The mother or the father?
I'm both, well, yeah, both, I suppose. Yes. And, and so the tenacity, passion, commitment was to help build a life. I was an immigrant. I came from London, then via Hong Kong, living there, and then here. And my passion was that I was to contribute. And when my grandmother and great aunt founded a school that I went to, and so my mother was a single mum, a divorcee who worked. So my role model has always been a woman that worked.
Yep.
And a woman that contributed to the community and had a absolute no hesitation in doing the hard yards. So that's my default. That's what I'm from and who I am. I'm a Taurian, so I'm stubborn and bullheaded and tenacious, and so that's how it started. It started knowing that I had a skill that I could put out on an hourly rate, and meanwhile juggle my 3 babies, because the biggest joy for me in life has been being a mummy, and I've loved that role. And at the time I was working for an IT company, and as soon as I got pregnant, they said, well, you'll be off then, won't you? So they made it very clear that motherhood and full-time work wasn't going to work for them. That was 25 years ago. And so creating my own thing has given me the opportunity to be the best mum I could be. And then meanwhile, it's grown, and George, it's so exciting to have created something. I mean, we won, we were awarded best marketing. I've got it next to me, best marketing and PR agency last year. Look, I've got it here to keep my spirits high through this time. And when things like that
fantastic
happen, it's just really exciting that, we're still here, we're still going. 25 years is a long time.
Now tell me, usually Sharon, during difficult times, one of the most immediate cutbacks that companies undertake are, let's cut out marketing, let's cut out consultancy fees, let's cut out all the supposedly superfluous stuff that doesn't have a direct link to sales growth. So what are you finding right this minute in the throes of COVID-19, the last couple of months? You're finding that the companies are actually staying the course and continuing on with marketing because they see how important it is, or are you finding the reverse, that they're cutting back?
Yeah. So I think it's fair, George, to judge companies out there on the situation they're in.
Yep.
You've got some companies that just cannot operate right now, physically and from a regulation point of view. They've been cut off at the knees. I'm not saying that's wrong, but they just have nowhere to go, and therefore all the marketing in the world is not going to save them. But I'd like to feel that marketing is the words like reputation and communication, and so they still have a job to do to hold that reputation and communication together for their networks, so that when they do come through this and reinvent, they're still in touch with people who care about them. Because in business, I don't know about you, but I'm in business because I care about people and because I want to do the right thing. So,
yes.
For those people, I think we have to just salute and pay credit to those people that are in that situation, because that's a really difficult place to be. Then there are the brands, of course, that are booming, and almost having to hire people to keep up with inquiries. Brands like Luxury Escapes, travel companies have had, although they've been thumped, they've had to have perhaps more people on call centers. And so there are a variety of circumstances out there that I just want to acknowledge before I answer this. But I think the principle stays the same. If you are a business owner, you've got to look like you're open for business, and whatever your circumstances, in a crisis 101 is to communicate and to have your team and your suppliers and your network knowing how you're going and whether or not you're there to provide help or not. So immediately this struck, we then went into, we created the COVID-19 war cabinet in our company. who were selected out of the company for various reasons: age, experience, diverse cross-section. And we literally met twice a week to put in the communication and initiatives we needed to get through this. And I'm mature, so I've lived a long time through 3 continents and plenty of crises of my own. So crises is not new to me, but it's new to a lot of people, and particularly younger than me. And so it might be even more frightening. I think I've lived enough time to know that there is a procedure to go through with something like this. But there are lots of people out there who don't have that experience and are going to be going through a crisis for the first time. And they're the ones that need our help to understand that, we will get through this.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, maturity does bring on some experiences, and I guess once you've been through a crisis once, the next time around, it doesn't land so hard. But this is the first time for a lot of people, even up to their mid-30s. They've never experienced anything like it. But tell our listeners and our viewers, what has your company experienced and what have you seen out there amongst your clients that is of interest? Like something.
Yes, what have I seen? So I've pretty much seen almost everything, because we've got a variety of clients across a whole different set of industries. So for example, my universities are struggling because of the lack of international students.
Yes.
My schools, so education, technology has been booming because everybody suddenly has wanted to lean on that, the availability of technology. So I've seen some wonderful things, like one of my clients has released a free crisis module for their clients. So what a wonderful thing that is. I've got a mental health client, which has been fascinating, because I think that everyone needs to deep dive at the moment and keep their health paramount, physical and mental. And I'm really enjoying those brands who have come out of the woodwork and are communicating. I think the biggest message you can take to your viewers, George, is that right now is not the time to hide away. It's the time to be out there. And every brand that is out there is going to get, in an empathetic way, and by the way, it's not a great time to sell right now. It's a better time to show empathy and help. Those are the examples that we're seeing that are really extraordinary. Look at Louis Vuitton making sanitizers and then making medical gowns. My local coffee shop becoming a little supermarket, and stocking eggs and things, that the toilet paper.
The essentials.
Seeing restaurants revert to takeaways and home delivery. Seeing on services that were dabbling in online, suddenly now going mainstream online. So what COVID-19 has done for us, which is actually a good, if you can look at the plus side of things, is it's fast-tracked every trend that was on the way. So suddenly, by about 7-8 years, we've got the trends that were going to happen over there now happening here for business. And that's exciting, because it means that you've got a whole new view of industry and the way things are done. Online shopping has boomed. Home delivery of alcohol, which we were just laughing about earlier. The way services and products are bought has certainly gone through 190, if not 360 degree change. So for everybody listening, whatever state you're in at the moment and whatever phase you're in, there's opportunities in all of that for you right now.
Yeah, thank you, Sharon. I mean, one of the themes that has been popping up during previous interviews is the reluctance of business owners to just communicate the fact that they are undergoing some stress, or that they're worried that that they don't have any ideas on how to pivot their business. And you nailed it when you said, you know, that it's a metaphor for life, like just be in communication, get in communication. One of the reasons why we're having this interview is to go out, is to send this out to people who, you know, are living in their silo and they're silent and they're suffering in silence. But
Yeah,
it
it's
needn't be that
a
way.
natural reaction, isn't it? When we're
Yep.
frightened, and I mean, I don't know about you, George, but I'm frightened. You know, I've been frightened. I sort of wake up. It's a frightening time. I'm
Mm.
anxious. I'm frightened.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, I'm also excited and brave.
All human emotions.
All the human emotions, and when we're in situations like that, we've got to talk about it and share it
Yep.
and help people to feel that they're not alone, and also help people to realize that there is actions, small little chips away at actions, one step at a time, that can take them to where they want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I mean, it's great advice. I mean, women have a tendency to be able to talk freely, men not so much. So you're breaking down some of those barriers. Yeah, it takes a bit of time, but you know, when men do start talking, it's actually therapeutic. It's a really good thing. And as you know, Sharon, you know, the business world it's not 50-50. We're not quite at pure gender equality, not there yet.
Yeah, no.
Um, have you found that it's been um, a real educational process for your clients to deal with you and your view on the tone of voice that they should have?
Well, we've stayed extra close to our clients. We're always close to clients, but we've stayed extra close. And the feedback I've got about that is good. We're doing a Thursday free half an hour at 1 o'clock for our client base to come onto Zoom and just share. And it's
Right.
just so good to watch them help each other. And I've talked about what it's like for me, and I've always tried to make it a learning session so that
Yep.
everyone goes away with something solid and good. But equally, we've all learned from each other. And then I do a professional girls one too. And those girls have dived in and are helping each other and supporting each other. And so if you do stay close to your clients and chat to them, you can find out what it is they need, and also how they can help you and how you can help them. So I do think it's a really important time to stay close, whereas it might feel like a time to hide away.
Well, what kind of, apart from those free online get-togethers, I mean, what other changes have you put in place that are going to prepare you? I mean, no, you don't have a crystal ball, you can't see the future, but what you think might prepare you for when we come out of COVID-19.
Okay,
What
so
new
so
things?
everyone that's listening needs to be more
Mm.
virtually capable.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at my next office space where it has a dedicated studio and webinar, TV studio and webinar
Mm-hmm.
setup. Um, Technology, working remotely, CRM, online purchasing software, remote project management software. All of the people that are in business right now need to be looking from office space to how company culture is going to run is changing on every single facet. And
Yeah.
also, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm looking at my supplier contracts too. You know, why am I paying that for that? And where should I be swapping my investment? So I've very carefully examined the profit and loss of my business and made some movements into more of the virtual digital technology space that I possibly would have done further down the track, but I'm doing now. And I mean, how exciting for us as well as employers that we're going to have the pick of the crop in terms of careers. We've been doing weekly letters. I've been sending out literally a letter from me as a CEO once a week since this started, which you can find on the COVID-19 page on the Taurus site. And we've been offering advice in that way. And the feedback that we've been getting is very much that technology is going to drive our future. So
Sure.
I think everyone out there needs to be looking at how their business operates in that new normal. And that's not a threat. That's exciting. You know, it might be frightening and anxious making, but it's an opportunity. And to be holding meetings with your team and your client base to find out and visualize what that looks like now would be a really good thing. And if viewers and listeners haven't done that yet, then it would be a great thing to do.
Yeah, I think it's quite an important point. It is it's exciting. It's the possibilities now have opened up for many businesses. The ones that are really having a bit of a challenge is how to take advantage of what you've just said in the food and beverage game. So the suppliers in that game, the whole supply chain.
Yeah.
We know the likes of Coles, Woolies, and Aldi have taken off,
Mm,
but the rest of the supply chain is effectively stalled. Clubs
mm,
are closed, bars are closed, restaurants and cafes are closed, or they're opening up now.
mm,
Um,
mm.
but they've taken a really big hit. It's very difficult. How would you say that they could translate their business or migrate their business into the online world in a way that keeps the revenue line up?
Do you know what? I hope that everyone has more cash in the bank moving forward.
Yeah, yeah,
I hope that everybody has their, as the Barefoot Investor says, has their fire extinguisher fund in a much better way. It's a bit of a worry at how many businesses only had a week or 2 weeks of cash flow. And that's not a COVID issue. That's a management issue. That's a financial management issue.
yeah,
And it might be easier. People might say, "Oh, that's easy for her to say." Hello, I'm a single mum, and you can either be living on the smell of an oily rag, or you can cut your cloth and put money in the bank, so that you've got cash for a rainy day. And my business is going because of that. So
yeah,
the financial management that I have instigated, with the help of my advisors and with the discipline that you do go without, you don't have all the things that you might like every week, but you owe it to it's a business. It's not a game. I'm a director of a company, and I have to take it absolutely seriously. And so I'm proud of that. I'm proud that going into this, I knew I had a buffer. Now that buffer isn't never ending, and you don't throw good money after bad, but that is what will see us through.
yeah,
I'm also lucky that I'm in a field where people do still want help. So we are getting lots of inquiries, and we are signing new business. So that's exciting, George. Even though we've had a bit of a change in our client base,
yeah.
it's people still need us and are coming to us, which is exciting.
You're absolutely right, Sharon. I mean, having cash in the bank is gold, and too many businesses were skating on thin ice because they were, rather than become super efficient and super lean, they leaned on suppliers to give them extended credit terms, and because that was easy, it was the low-hanging fruit, and those industries, and I am talking about the food and beverage industries, have really been hit hard because it created a ripple effect. You know, the amount of extended credit out there is incredible, and whether that's going to be collected in due course remains to be seen. I don't think all of it will be. So
Yeah. And George, I'm only giving advice. I'm not some angel or some
no,
financial wizard. I'm only giving advice because I've been there before. So it's only through experience that it's taught me that. There were times when I've been over leveraged, and there've been times when times are good, no one needs to be clever.
yeah,
It's when times are bad that you need to be clever. And as I said earlier, we've lived, hopefully this event will teach people to be cleverer moving forward and make better decisions. And having money in the bank, and also having a business that doesn't survive on something that is only, even restaurants can buy 10 meals and get free dessert. They can put cash flow models in place, right? I mean, that's what I do for a living, marketing and lead gen. They can put special offers together, but secure cash for the future. So there's lots of ways where that will happen, and we're seeing that now, aren't we, with some of the restaurants, some of
Yeah.
the lovely hotels I've stayed at before are emailing me now to pay now and get a discount, but perhaps not take that holiday for a while. Well, that's all clever cash flow planning, and that's,
Hmm.
I mean, I call that marketing, but it is actually good business.
It is indeed, and for those businesses that actually could wish to avail themselves of your services,
Mhm.
how would they be able to get in touch with you, Sharon?
Oh, we're easy. If you go to the Taurus marketing site or just Google us, it'll have the phone number on the front of the site, or you can fill in a form, an inquiry form, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah,
So, yeah, we'd love to help, George, very
that's great.
much.
That's great. So, just a final word of advice to anyone in business out there. Is there anything you can share, words of wisdom, apart from
Um,
have cash in the bank?
yeah, I think, well, I think we've said over communicate, don't hide away, and get out there and speak to people,
Hmm.
even if you're out of work at the moment and you're looking at what's going to happen next. You need to be in front of the people that need to hear from you. I'd suggest, that everyone takes care of their mental and physical health, because if they don't do that, there isn't a future. So
Yeah, that's very important.
plan within your families and within your loved ones in the spheres of influence that you've got to reach out and keep everybody as upbeat and as fine as possible, because as I say, without that there's no future. And then a couple of red wine sessions with a white serviette and a pen to plan and map out the future with a few mates.
Love that.
Why not?
I love that. Oh, I look forward to doing it with you, Sharon, one day, because I'll need to map out my life too.
As long as you bring the red wine, George.
I'll do that. I'll do that. Look, Sharon, I can't thank you enough. Short and sharp, but it was great. It was great having you on here, and I do hope that our listeners and our viewers get a lot out of this and avail themselves of your services. I really hope they take advantage. Actually, I'm going to make a call out to them directly. Take advantage of the experience that Sharon brings to the table. She has an awesome marketing machine behind her, and she thinks outside of the box and beneficial for any business. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, George. That's very gracious. Lots of love. Bye.
Take care, Sharon.